Hey y'all, what's up? I'm in my kitchen, obviously. I just went to grab my camera, and as I was setting it up in here, I realized that I haven't shot a Roots and Refuge video in my kitchen in quite a while, since I started the Farmer's Table. Which is weird because I used to shoot videos in my kitchen pretty regularly that weren't necessarily like recipe videos. I don't know. Before I dive into what this video is actually about, I'm gonna do a good job. Do the business part of this. I have been meaning to put this in a video for the last few, but it's been a really busy season, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. This is a promotion we're doing over at Beulah. So if you have somehow missed this, about a year ago, it's almost a year exactly, we launched our roasting company where we roast fair trade coffee. We work directly with farms and bring excellent coffee to you. It is great. We get really great reviews. I love our coffee, and I'm an avid coffee drinker, but I am also an avid tea drinker. And when we were kind of getting all the logistics together for launching Beulah, of course we have a building with our roaster. It's where we host our farmers market. And of course we were bringing employees on. My very dear friend Daniel works for us and roasts coffee. Michaela works there, my sister. She does all of the shipping fulfillment. And our friend David, who we've been friends with since, I don't know, about a year after we got married, recently moved here and is working with us on Beulah. And we were talking about what we were offering, and I was like, hey guys, what about tea? Because I actually drink as much tea as coffee, if not more. We're offering a tea sampler over at Beulah. I'll put a link to it down below. It includes 3 of our very popular seasonal teas, and right now we're running a special that you get a free extra bag of tea when you order the sampler. We did this exact offer with our coffee offerings a handful of months ago, and it was very widely celebrated and received. In the tea sampler is our Herb Garden black tea. This is my favorite tea that we have. There are also a couple others that I really love, the Coco Loco and the Herbal Hibiscus, but the Herb Garden black tea has black tea, Darjeeling tea, I'm probably saying that wrong, a peppermint leaf, rosemary leaf, and organic thyme. It's so good. That's my favorite tea. That's the one I drink the most. But specials going on, link is down below. Thank you as always for your continued support of our endeavors. It really blesses my heart, and I love the opportunity to offer you products that I am proud of. So Beulah tea, link down below. So I want to share a little bit about what's going on in our world. Check this out. All my kitchen drawers are out. I'm cleaning my kitchen today, which is not something that I typically like making videos of. But I've been thinking as I've been working in here, and I kind of wanted to share with y'all where we've been, because I think it's beneficial. A long time ago, I shared that my hope in starting this YouTube channel was to live in a glass house. And what that means is I want to be very transparent. And this has been a really rough summer as far as the farm goes. I mean, we've had some trials, and we've shared those very transparently, sometimes at the cost of being criticized, and it's okay, because people need to know, as romantic as I view the world, the rose-colored glasses that I look at the world through, it's still hard sometimes. The beautiful thing about choosing to feel things is that your mountaintop moments are, I mean, just extraordinary, but it means your valley moments they're hard. And so many people choose to stop feeling in the valley moments. They choose to stop being transparent. They choose to stop being honest. They choose to stop sharing openly because they feel like, well, this isn't inspiring, this isn't good. But what about when the people who are watching hit a valley moment? For me, I share those things transparently because I want you to know that you're not alone in that. Because everybody deals with them. Hello, this is real life. So, we did share some, I have the most random stuff in my kitchen drawers. I'm going to try to stay focused and talk while I do this. We did share some months ago. We have been planning on building our house this year. We have house plans drawn up. We built our entire farm around where our house is going to be. For just the nutshell backstory, we moved to this property in 2021 post-COVID lumber price madness, and it cost like $1,000 for us to build the like gate entryway with lumber, and we're like, well, this isn't going to work, you know, we're not going to build anything really substantial in the middle of this. We had been planning on like building our shop, I'm such a gardener, parking our RV in it, and living in that with our kids. We have 6 children total. Malia has always visited us. She's the daughter I gained through marrying Jeremiah. Jackson and Asher I brought with me into our blended family, but they've lived with us full time and visited their dad on summer and holidays. And then Toby, Ezra, and Ben are our 3 together. That's a lot of kids to live in an RV, and I know some of you have done it, but we stayed in it very briefly and realized that that was not going to work for us. So we ended up buying this mobile home. This is a double wide. I've had multiple people get on me and be like, that's a modular home. It's actually not. This is actually a manufactured home according to the dealer that I bought it from. It does have sheetrock walls. It is a very nice manufactured home. And the reason why we ended up buying this one is because when we decided we needed a more permanent temporary measure, because at the time of moving here, building anytime soon did not look feasible, we started looking for options, and everything was back ordered like a year plus. This was during the period where like houses were going $40,000-$50,000 over asking price like 15 minutes after they were listed. It was crazy. Like we'd even consider like maybe we can rent a house in town, maybe we could buy a house in town and live in it while we work. There were no options. Well, we found a dealer in Augusta, Georgia that was willing to sell us this lot model. This was like a model that people could come in and look at. And so we made we shook hands and begun the deal, started signing papers, and 3 months later this was on our property, which is absolutely unheard of. And like miraculously, the thing fit us with all of our kids. This is 4 bedrooms, and it's the nicest house I've ever lived in. I've always lived in old houses. I've always lived in project houses. This is the first brand new home that I've ever lived in my life. And so it's a huge blessing. But we knew we wanted to build a house eventually, so we put this home on the back corner of our property. And the idea was, well, this isn't some cheap trailer that you move on and you move off. This is the kind that they set up on a permanent foundation. So we're not going to buy this temporarily. But we have a huge family, and we're like, well, we'll put it on the back corner of the property. We'll live in it for the time being. And eventually, when we build, we'll have this space. We could use it as a vacation rental. We can rent it to a family member. Eventually, we'll have, our children will be adults and, potentially have their own families where they want to stay. Extra space is not going to go amiss. So our plan was to build soonish, and we started to explore that at the end of last year, and hit like open door after open door and started to like go down the road of building our house. But it became pretty evident to us after a handful of months that it wasn't the right thing to do. And we did a whole video kind of sitting down and sharing that whole experience and everything that it entailed. So now we're in a place of kind of deciding what do our plans look like. Now, Jeremiah and I are chronic overachievers. I'll be frank. We're not sit still people. We like doing stuff. We like to have a lot to do. We like accomplishing things. We like building things. My mind moves really fast, and I like to do stuff. I occasionally, I take days off. I watch Gilmore Girls, and crochet in my pajamas. I do those things, but not a lot, admittedly. So anyway, we've been discussing, since basically we decided we were closing the door on building our house right now, we're like, well, what's next? And our plan is to slowly build Jeremiah's shop. We went ahead and had the foundation poured since it's the season for that. But one thing that we really discussed is making the most of this home. And I talked about this really in depth in a podcast, so if you listen to my podcast regularly, this is repetition for you. Oh boy, this is stuck. Today I realized I couldn't open and close some of my kitchen drawers, so this has been my project of the afternoon. I believe in stewardship. I believe that when you manage what is in your hands, it will naturally multiply. And if you desire more than what is in your hands, the very best thing you can do is manage what is in your hands with excellence. And one of the things that Maya and I really came to was we were like, we've been treating this home like a waiting room. We've been treating this home as if it's temporary. Hey, buddy boy.
Hey, Mom.
Is your tea done? Can I put you on a video? Right, okay. Sorry, let's get past all my drawers. Ezra Jude. Can you tell our friends what happened last week?
I broke my arm.
Yeah, what'd you do there?
Electric scooter.
Electric scooter. Well, that's okay. It happens, huh? This is boyhood.
I thought it would only happen once.
Yeah, this is your second time to break that arm. That's right. What happened the first time?
Trampolines.
Yeah.
I can't trust them.
You can't trust them. Well.
Don't go on trampolines, kids.
Or be careful when you do, huh? Hey, even when you're cautious, it can happen, right?
Yeah.
Ezra has a cast, but we got a great report today at the doctor. He is healing properly, and so we're going to check back in 3 weeks and see the state of his arm. At the emergency room, they thought it was just barely a little buckle fracture. When we actually got to the ortho specialist, the pediatric orthopedic specialist, it was actually both bones in his arm that were broken. But he's all set now. He is in his cast and healing well, we learned today, which is good news. So Maya and I were discussing making the most of our home and realizing that we really, honestly, we were just viewing it as a temporary place to stay. There are multiple things that I thought, oh, we could do this in this house. This would make it nicer. This would maximize it. But also what we were doing was collecting clutter and avoiding fixing things because it was like, well, we'll just fix that when we move out. And anytime you have a temporary mindset over what you are stewarding, you will not steward it well. Anytime you are viewing something as just a stopgap to meet your needs until you get to what you actually want, that mindset, it just does not lend to really effective stewardship. We basically were talking and we had just really felt, both of us, and praying and all of that, we're like, we really feel like we need to get our house in order. And of course you can use that like metaphorically, like get your house in order, like get yourself ready for anything. And I know a lot of people have been feeling that like sense of, I don't know, I think you could actually use the word urgency. I think a lot of people are feeling the sense of urgency to create sustainability, to grow food and move to homesteads. I hear from people all the time that are feeling that, but I would have thought that we were there. Like I would have thought, oh, our house is in order. Well, we started discussing You're in the zone over there stirring that tea.
I'm trying to make sure all the sugar melts into the tea.
A good
Also, it
bit.
won't be sweet.
What kind of tea are you drinking? You're drinking black tea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Vanilla black tea is my favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I was telling our friends on YouTube about Beulah teas today.
Really?
You like the chai best, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like chais. I just don't like iced chais. I'm not a big fan of iced tea.
You like hot tea.
Hot tea's amazing though.
Yeah, you like hot.
I like iced, like cold tea, like sweet tea. Like that's
Right,
good.
like sweet tea, but not like the
iced,
herbal teas.
Like iced
Yeah.
chai? No, I don't like that.
You like, how do you like your tea? Sweet with some cream?
Yes, definitely cream.
Yeah.
I'm just stirring out the sugar right now because if you add the milk before you add the sugar won't melt. Because it won't be hot enough.
That's a good move. Nice tea brewing direction. I was not a hot tea drinker until I married Jeremiah, and his Nana is from Newfoundland. And Nana always has the round Tetley tea in her bag. Newfie tea is what we call it. And she has like a Ziploc of it in her purse at all times. And she would have people send it to her because the Tetley tea that you buy in the States is not the same. And Nana always has Newfie tea in her bag. And she always makes hot tea with cream and sugar. And Maya was a big hot tea drinker when I met him. And all of our children are hot tea drinkers, like regular. I have to keep like decaf black teas because they love tea. Even the older boys have taken to it, and all of my children come home from school every day and make a cup of hot tea. So in realizing we need to get our house in order, we've been living in this space like it's temporary, and in doing so, very unintentionally, we've really kind of been taking it for granted. We haven't been making the most of our home, making the most of what's in our hand. We decide this, and we have this whole conversation. Sorry for the beep. I know when things beep, it makes y'all's dogs bark. We decided and had this whole conversation about doing just that, like organizing our house, getting rid of stuff, kind of preparing to stay here a little longer term because we were closing the door on building the house. And one of the big issues, the things I'd been saying that I needed to do, was that I needed to address my closet, because my closet had kind of become a catch-all for all the stuff that I didn't have a place for and that I hadn't dealt with. And it was, you know, it wasn't like rotating clothes into storage seasonally. It was just like putting it all in the closet. You couldn't even walk in there. And we had said we need to start with our closet. And that day, literally, we have this conversation, and that day the whole long bar in my closet just falls off the wall, like demands to be cleaned out. We had to clean it out to fix it because we literally could not get to our clothing. Like, we had to pull everything out. And that was, let's see, that's been like 5 or 6 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know, maybe it's been a little more than that. I feel like I've lost track of time this summer. But since then, Maya and I have been systematically getting our house in order, going from space to space to space. We started in the kids' room, which I don't really show my kids' rooms on videos, but we got them completely reordered, moved them around and combined some things, got rid of a ton of stuff. It is so much more functional. And now we've been in the kitchen. Oh, Bear, did that sound scare you, my love? We've been in the kitchen and the dining room. So it is definitely a hot mess right now, which my kitchen has always been kind of a very cluttered space. And it may always be a little cluttery. But right now I'm going through all my drawers and getting rid of all my junk. I'm so proud. And we did this down here because I used to have like a little hutch here, but it kind of intruded out into this space. And we moved that out and just extended these shelves, which I really love. I'm always joke that I'm not a minimalist at all. I'm like a maximalist. I like my stuff and I want it around me. I want to be able to see it. All the open shelving, I know for some people that would probably make your eye twitch because you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so much clutter. But for me, if I can't see things, I just forget that they exist. And so I really love open shelving. And this space feels so much better. Of course, I've got tons of stuff on my kitchen table right now. I'm pulling all my drawers out. I'm going through everything and really asking the question of, like, do I need this? Do I need this right now? Do I need this eventually? Like, is this a tool that I need to access regularly? Should I put it in a storage place where I can get it seasonally? And we're just doing the due diligence of getting our house in order. And as I was in here working, I turned my music off. I was blasting my music. I've been working in here all day, you know, sorting all this stuff out. And I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about how many people routinely message me and they tell me, oh, I feel really strongly that I need to create security, food security, that I need to do this for my home. And it's so easy to look at the 25 acres you can't buy, or look at the barn you can't build, or look at all of the things that feel a little out of reach. But I really, really do believe in what I tell you guys, to turn your waiting room into a classroom. I really do believe that that is the most empowering stance that we can take when we feel an urgency towards something. We stop, and though you may have an idea of what you want to do, what ideal would look like, to be able to quit your day job, and the ideal, I get it, like it's there. And what's crazy is I live now in a lot of the ideal that I used to feel was impossible. I really do. I mean, like, I get to do this for my job, which is incredible. You know, we got to build the barn, we got to buy the land. But what I'm finding in this season is if you don't have the foundational stuff right, there comes a point that you cannot responsibly keep expanding. You have to take it back. You have to clean out your closet. You have to clean out your drawers. You have to get your house in order, because that's what brings ultimately peace in our day-to-day. I can't tell you how many days that I have been prepared to go out to my big red barn and do my dream job and live this dream life, that I have been filled with frustration because I was treating my life and important parts of my life as if they were temporary, just waiting to get to the fulfillment of what I really wanted. And the truth is, what I really, really want, I don't care if I live in this mobile home or in our forever home or wherever it is. I mean, it was the same when I lived in all of those old homes that I lived in leading up to this point. What I really, really want is peace in my home. And there's nothing stopping me from creating that right now, except for me and what's up here. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're getting our house in order. And it's a very practical thing. This is us turning our waiting room into a classroom. But ultimately what that looks like is when you do what you can with what's currently in your hand, and you're mindful of stewardship, and you decide to live in that gratitude. I told Maya, I was like, I want to make this home, like, I want to make this home so much of a home that I would be happy to stay in it forever. Not to get the other house, not to move on to the other step, but because that's the kind of home I want to live in. And as we have begun working on the space, and we have begun really just making the most of it, not only am I falling in love with my home again, which is amazing, we're also realizing, you know, we could take our time. We could build our house out of pocket by ourselves and take years to do it, and there's no rush because we've made our home a home we want to live in. And so there's just no rush. I feel like when you idealize the future and the dream, though I am all about dreaming, I love a dream, but there is this tense in-between that happens where you're waiting on the dream, but you're exercising the contentment in the moment. And I feel like it's really easy when you have a dream to think you have to put blinders on and put your head down and just push through until that point. When in actuality, part of what may make that dream possible is you being ready for it. And by managing what's in your hands right now, you are ultimately turning your waiting room into a classroom. You are ultimately educating yourself and preparing yourself and training yourself in how to manage the dream that you dream of having someday. And blinders and head down is never going to prepare you. So if you are feeling that very strong sense of get your house in order, and you have a long list of things that you feel like you need to buy to do that, and a long list of things that feel out of your reach that you need to do that, clean out the junk drawer. It really can be that simple. It's empowering. It's empowering to prepare yourself for what you're dreaming of. And you never know, you might find that you're just very, very happy with what you have. That's all. God bless you guys. Until next time, I gotta go back and clean the kitchen.